Okay, so you guys all got a copy?
I don't know, let me read it.
Well, I'm gonna read it to you, so.
Even better.
Okay. We've taken a little extra time to put this together, and
okay.
I feel it's very, very important for it to be addressed publicly. We've examined all the rec department documents that we received on October 28th, and which was under our request, and we've concluded this. From 2001 through until, if you want to flip a couple pages, 2006, everything seems to mesh really well.
Yep.
Expenditures show, and there's whatever needed, receipts and so forth.
Yep.
And if you look even under 2006, it says balance to surplus. In 2007, that's where things change. We have no receipts for what this $1,000 that the town gave to them was for. And it was a request from Jessica Carrier to make a check out for $1,000 and mail to the Peru Rec Committee, care of Tim Holland. We've put the warrant number on there as well as the check number. We don't understand why that took place.
I don't either.
If you go to 2008, 2009, town appropriated $2,000 and cash receipts, which I'm going to assume means that $500 was receipted into the town office for that account. Expenses came to $2,000. The balance for $500 carried. Tim asked for the $2,000.
Let's slow down. Let's back up. 2008.
Sorry.
Carried. Why was it carried?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Well, because it's showing in the cash receipts.
Shows in cash receipts.
But we have no receipts for the
Oh, okay,
cash.
Okay.
So
okay.
we're assuming that cash was brought in, but there's no
Okay.
receipt showing that.
This is consistent with what my understanding of the policy was before. Any money that was raised by the town would be accounted through the town's books. Any stuff that they got in, which would be their receipts,
We understand that.
they would be free to expend that as they needed to run their operations.
That's
Okay,
right.
but it says balance carried.
Well, that's because they carried it because it was their right to carry it.
Wait.
It was in the Peru Rec account. So that was not in the town account, was it, Vera?
It had to be.
Well,
Yes.
That
And
$500 was in
No,
it?
I don't know if it was, because some years it said to hold the balance or carry the balance.
Right.
So I'd have to look back to see what the
But-
warrant
but-
article said for that year.
In 2008, it says receipts in cash.
that's right.
Receipts from who?
I'll have to,
First of all, it should not have been receipted into the town books.
I don't know what the reasoning why. I'll have to go in.
Could have been a donation, yeah.
Could have been a donation, I don't know. And I was using a different system. We were using Peachtree then. But
Yes.
I do have the receipts, I just have to look to see when it was, and what I'll have to do is go through each, find out when it was, because the box is like this.
Yeah.
Well, you gave me the receipts for
Right.
that previously
Right,
until
and I understand
2007.
I don't know where,
Everything meshed. But, okay, so that go ahead.
Just that at that point, that's when Mr. Holland came onto the board, and the amount was increased by $1,000 to the rec department through the town.
For appropriation.
Just making points.
Yeah, but now,
For appropriations.
2008, 2009, it said, Tim asked for the sum of $2,000 to be forwarded to
Yes.
the Peru
Yes.
Recreation. That's $2,000 from this account
Yes,
to the
to
account
him.
that he supposedly has.
It just went to him with no, and we
no
didn't get
receipt.
any
With no
receipts for that.
receipts.
So that's $3,000 that's not accounted
Yeah.
for
Right.
so far.
Exactly.
Yep.
2009, 2010, the town again appropriated $2,000. Again, there's a cash receipt of $350, with the total expenses of $2,331.83, which means that the cash receipts were included with the $2,000 to pay the bills.
yeah,
There, it's got a balance carried of $1,817. But we have no receipts for the cash deposit of the $350. And where's the 500 that was carried from 2008, 2009?
Yeah,
And if you look through your paperwork that we've given you, there is a receipt, and we labeled it as A. It's a question on a receipt because it's receipted to the Peru School District, not to the Rec Department, but the Rec Department paid the bill.
yeah. Which year was that?
2009
9,
to
10.
2010.
Right.
2010 to 2011. This was when the appropriations were increased another $500 and they were given $2,500. And there's a cash receipt listed for $20, but there's no mention of the $18.17 that was supposedly carried. Total expenses were $2,520. And there's
And did you see receipts or bills for all of that $2,500 in the town's accounts?
we saw a $20, we had a question on the $20 because
There was no receipt.
there was no receipt for that extra 20.
You mean there was no indication of where it came from?
That's right.
I mean, or where it went.
Oh,
Where it went.
Oh, okay, okay, both.
And we also noticed that all of the gas slips coming from Blaisdell's through Community Energy were lumped into the town of Peru. That's also a question we have.
And they didn't add up.
Some of those bills from Community Energy are just marked with this account, this much, this account, this much, this account, this much. And in contacting Community Energy, whoever goes in there for a gas or whatever, if they say charge it to the town, they're supposed to sign a slip. We had no slips given to us, anything signed, so I don't know how anyone would know what account that should be charged to. And then 2011, 2012 is where things get really, in my opinion, this is where things go bad.
Oh, well, it didn't look too good for 2 years before.
And don't mind me, I'm getting dry mouth because I'm very upset about this. And town appropriated again the $2,500. Cash receipts were $267.05 with expenses of $1,953.01. Balance held of $814.04. This is another balance that should have gone to surplus. However, the balance that actually should have gone to surplus was $546.99. The $267.05 should have carried, not $814.04. The Rec Department paid for advertising and portable toilets for the Friends of Peru Elementary School, per Nick Waugh. Tim Holland said to pay the Rec Department. The slips totaled to $440.89.
Why would they buy portable toilets for the Friends of Peru?
They paid for the turkey shoot at Bond's Pit.
Okay.
And this is what I'd like to know. I know there's not a lot of people here.
Paid for the turkey?
Rec Department paid for the turkey
But the
shoot.
money wasn't going to the kids at the Rec Department. It was
And-
going to the community center.
And they paid for the advertising in the papers. And they've been paying for more than just that advertising. There's quite a few bills for advertising in the paper, both the Sun and in the Rumford Falls Times. Now,
Okay, let me point out, do you want to present some more?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Gets better.
I just want to say that personally, I voted for the town to fund that building. I know a lot of people didn't, and I totally understand their position. But the town voted to not fund it anymore. And it was my understanding from working here as her deputy that this was not to be done. You don't take money from one account and pay another account's bills. That's misappropriation of funds. And I'm very shocked that it was done. And I'm very upset that it was done. Because it may not seem like a lot of money, but it's shooting the people of the town of Peru in the feet.
And
And
this
it
money
doesn't
goes
matter
to the
who said
kids.
to do it. As a town clerk, Vera, you know, and you trained me in '97 the same rules, that you don't do that.
I don't sign the warrants.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Board
matter.
of Selectmen.
You knew what
are-
was right, and you should have said no. I answer to the people of the town of Peru, and that money was to be going to the kids. And we were told by Selectman Milligan many times, but that money goes to the kids, and I'm all for it. But when I see the money not being used for the kids, and it's being sent over there, that makes people angry.
In 2012,
That's disgusting.
2013, we've again put aside the 2,500 with expenses of 210820. Balance held of 39176. Here's the 814 that was carried over from 2011 to 2012. A check for $814.04 was again written, only this one was to Tim Holland.
After the fiscal
On
year.
July 9th, 2012, after the fiscal year started, it was written to him. So we'd already gone into another fiscal year. Check number 16187 for $1,748.20 was written to who we don't know. It contained a payment of $225 that had already been paid out on 4/29. And we don't know if that balance went into surplus. And as far as so far, 2013, 2014 appropriated 2,000. The only thing we've got is the 391.76 for the fiscal year of 12-13, and some meals that were charged at Blaisdell's for $117.55.
20 something here, 30 something there. These aren't meals for kids.
And that was taken out of the,
Some of it was
Out of the-
billed to the rec fund and some to the fire department.
I believe that was cleanup for, once again, you know, the community cleanup in the spring that
Yeah.
they have the high school kids.
right.
It wasn't one lump sum of $117 there. It was like 20. It's like somebody went in and got a sandwich and a bag of chips and a soda for themselves. It wasn't like, I understand it says 4 extra large pizzas. That's going in the fall. That's going to the kids. That, you know, not individual meals.
In further investigation, in questioning, we were also told that the state does not recognize the rec department or rec committee as a group that can go out and can go out and raise money, because they are not a nonprofit or a registered group with the state. Which means they can't have an account of their own. Any money is supposed to come through the town, including the cash receipts that you said aren't supposed to. According to the state, they are. Anything. Doesn't matter if it's a ball, kids playing ball that donate, come in and pay for their uniforms. If it's people donating to it, it's all supposed to be done through the town, receipted through the town, and with written checks and receipts.
And I would like to read one more thing. And this was from in the annual report. This was written by Tim Holland. This is in 2009-10 annual report. And it said fundraiser is underway for the new bathroom, changing rooms, and concession area, right?
Yeah.
It says cash donations can also be left at the town office for the Peru Recreation Building Fund.
Yeah.
There should have been a separate account in there for the building fund, not the
Not
rec
them.
committee.
Not them taking it. And
We didn't appropriate the money to go to the rec committee.
so at this point, I don't know how you guys want to handle it. I can tell you what we want to see done, and it's not it's not pleasant to say it. I don't even want to say it.
Well, then
I
don't
think
say
you
it.
know.
Let me just, I appreciate what you've done here. I knew that there were some things going on in the last couple of years that were not, because it was my understanding, and when I'm not in office, I try not to interfere with the people who are, because it's a tough enough job on its own. Okay? But we had always had the position that the money raised by the town would go through the town books. The money that the Peru Recreation Committee raised, in whatever fashion, and whether it was legal or not, we didn't get into. They had the right to do that. They were going out and raising money to do their Little League and whatever they were running. Soccer and popcorn, whatever. So we didn't interfere with that. We had a very clear dividing line. That is that any money raised by the town went through the town books and should be accounted for by receipts, and there should be a balance sheet on it that does not have discrepancies. What you have pointed out by the receipts that we gave you, the information that we gave you, was that since 2006, that there have been discrepancies.
2007.
Well,
Yeah,
since
6 was good,
2006.
everything was fine. Everything
Yeah.
went back to surplus.
Yeah. There's a problem, and I think we ought to research it and find out. The position we've taken with Tim at this point is, we've asked him for information, and he hasn't given it to us particularly, except he's given us the checking account balance.
One thing that I don't understand here was when the checks were made out to him, to the other rec committee, so it looks like to me, he took that money from this, from the town rec committee money, and put it in his. That's what it looks like.
I have one more
Well,
thing to
we
say.
can't
I don't know what
We
he's
can't
done
go
with
on the basis of what it looks like, but if indeed that money was taken out of the rec account, and Vera, is that a fact that checks were made out to Tim Holland or to the Peru Rec for the amount that was raised by the town?
Whatever, you know, the invoices were provided to us and they were processed.
No, but I mean, I'm talking about the actual transfers. They're claiming that in 2007,
But these weren't invoices for receipts. These were handwritten or written on a typewriter saying, give me the money. And another thing too is I want to know if any of that money was for the donation for the bathrooms that was being taken out. Was any of that money brought in by people donating to the concession stand and that? Was any of it?
No,
no.
no.
So what was happening to that
We
money?
never saw any of
It should have
that.
been there should have been a fund in the office for
But
that.
there wasn't.
No,
We never saw
the town
any of
was
those
not doing
monies.
that.
We
We
never
gave
saw
permission
any.
to the Peru Rec to.
But there again, when people are reading this in the town audit,
Martha,
yeah,
okay, and I gave you a long time to go through this whole thing.
you didn't give
Now,
me
yeah.
that much time. There's a lot
No,
here.
I gave Donna time, but the point I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get to the heart of this thing now, as to the way we should move forward. And my question is, it looks to me like there were checks made out to Tim Holland for aggregate amounts without receipts, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, then if that is the case, then we have every right to demand from Mr. Holland and the Peru Rec Committee a complete set of their books and all receipts and expenditures for those years. Because they took money from the town. The minute they did that, they crossed over the line, and they have to account for it. That's my opinion.
I agree, so what do? We call him up? What do we do?
I will get a hold of Mr. Holland. If he's not forthcoming,
Yeah.
then we will take other action, and we'll discuss that in open session.
Because according to this, I agree.
We're okay with this.
I have a question about that. Because I heard one of you, and I'm not going to point fingers, to my face say that this was going to be done months ago. I think
You
it's
can point at me
sad.
if you want to, I've been trying.
But I think it's sad that you waited on townspeople to do the research and bring this forward like this when we've been saying this for months and nothing has been done about this.
For
This
years.
is sad. This is
For
our
years.
kids.
You've been
This is
saying
our
that-
children.
You've been saying this more than just for months.
been years.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So how come?
We're trying to address it.
But I'm
Okay.
saying since you've taken over, it's been said since you guys have been on this board, and you've been saying you're going to address it, and I think it's sad that you had townspeople put all this time and effort into researching something that you should have done.
I stole Joe Wallet, would you take a few months to get back? I held you up when you left here and took your money right out of your pocket. Would you wait a couple months to call the cops on me, or?
If we didn't pay our
You take
taxes,
great
what would
care
you
of
do?
Would you, please slow down a little bit? I understand exactly what you're saying. I think I'm trying to say
You got two
that we
jackals
are
and all
going